Hello everyone, in this video, I will show you some best RPG games for PC in 2021. So without any further ado, let's start this video. The first game of this video is Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. If you don't think video games should have politics, don't play Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. If you don't think games should aspire to say something, this detective RPG isn't the game for you. That's not to say the game is a manifesto. The way it cynically, yet thoughtfully, criticizes a range of ideologies reveals the game's politics aren't nearly as narrow you might expect. Next up we have Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. Horizon Zero Dawn stood as one of the best PlayStation 4 exclusives, right up there with Bloodborne, Marvel's Spider-Man, and the God of War reimagining. Now you can also enjoy its open-world monster-slaying action on PC, thanks to this complete edition. Next up we have Genshin Impact. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, developer MiHoYo's upcoming title is about as flattering as games come. In 2019, Genshin Impact made a splash in the video game world with open-world, action RPG gameplay that's heavily inspired by Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Next up we have Nioh 2. Complete Edition. Nioh 2 is a fantastic sequel that takes challenging combat, stat-allocating RPG elements, and gear-based character builds and frames it within a Sengoku-era story that marries real historical figures in Japanese mythology. The original game's thrilling technical action returns but adds 4 new weapon types, yokai abilities that let you summon supernatural attacks, and an incredibly useful counterattack mechanic. Next up we have Yakuza Like a Dragon. Sega's Yakuza franchise is the spiritual successor to two of the publisher's beloved series, Shenmue and Streets of Rage. Like Shenmue, Yakuza lets you explore and live in a virtual Japan, where you can eat authentic Japanese meals, play classic arcade games, and aid fellow citizens. Like Streets of Rage, Yakuza sees you knuckle up roving bands of street thugs. Next up we have Wasteland 3. Set in a frozen and bleak Colorado, the inhabitants of this apocalypse game fall into two camps: helpful and well-meaning townsfolk, or psychopathic monsters out for blood. There's no real middle ground, and everything has a price of sorts. Combat is turn-based, like in previous Wasteland games, and it can be tough to survive out there in the wilderness, but it's a rewarding experience once you get into good habits. Next up we have Mass Effect: Legendary Edition. It's hard to say which Mass Effect game is the best, and luckily now we don't have to. This space saga has just about everything you could ask for in an RPG: thrilling battles, epic storytelling, and many Mass Effect Legendary Edition romance options across all 3 games. Next up we have Baldurs Gate 3. Baldurs Gate 3, the unexpected sequel to BioWare's CRPG classic Baldurs Gate 2, was released in early access 2 weeks ago. The game is, understandably, rough around the edges. It crashes often and is pretty buggy in its current state. I'm certainly not going to knock the game for that or even go into further detail. These are the kinds of things Larian Studios, the game's developer, is well aware of. Next up we have Monster Hunter World. Even the most die-hard Monster Hunter fans admit that there's a certain level of gameplay jank that you must overlook in order to enjoy the creature-slaying series, a jankiness that has turned many people away. With Monster Hunter World, developer Capcom overhauled animations, streamlined gameplay, and made numerous adjustments designed to appeal to core and casual audiences alike. The changes work big time. The last game of this video is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is the final installment in CD Projekt Red's action RPG series. In Wild Hunt, Geralt of Rivia slays mythological monsters, collects bounties, and protects the Child of Destiny. Developer CD Projekt Red builds upon the preceding Witcher game by introducing a ridiculously large open world filled with evil of both the monster and human varieties. So that's the list of 10 best RPG games for PC that you can play in 2021. If you enjoy this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel Games Puff, and press the bell icon for more gaming updates.